Hello and welcome to another episode of Success to Significance Story Time. As you see, once again, I am in my car, out and about, trying to get things done. But I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about something that I hope will encourage you, edify you, give you something to think about. So if you've been following the channel, you know that I have dedicated a few episodes to telling you stories about things that happened to me, things that have gone on, and I just wanted it to be a time where I can share some of the things that God has given me to share. So you saw the thumbnail and you saw the picture. So you may not be able to put the two together until I tell you this great story. As you see, we're going to be talking about what? Consequences. Yes, family, there are consequences to all of our actions. And we have to go back to the old time way and start letting each other know that when you do something, there's always an effect to what you've done. And if you look in the Bible and you read Galatians, I believe it's the 6th chapter and the 7th verse, it talks about not to be deceived. God is not mocked. You will reap what you sow. So whatever you do, you're going to get the results of it. But the story that I have to go along with it happened to me about 5 years ago. As you know, again, from watching the channel, I am an avid traveler. I've been to all 7 continents, about 60 plus countries to date. And at this particular time, I found myself in a small village in the southern African region. I believe I was in Zimbabwe. So in any case, when I go to different countries, I like to ask about the crime, how do they handle the crime. It's just something that, being in that field, I'm just interested in. And I've gotten some really interesting responses on how different countries, different cities handle the crime. But in this particular village, I had asked the chief, I said, do you have a lot of crime here? It's an open community. You have a lot of people here. And he said, no, we have virtually no crime. And I said, wow, how is that? And he said, because we have consequences and we put them in action. So he began to explain to me about a guy we'll call Joe. So Joe took it upon himself to keep stealing from everybody. Joe was a thief. When they had the harvest, he would go in the middle of the night and take people's things. He was not to be trusted. So they did an investigation and found out that it was Joe. So they brought him before the elders and he confessed to what he had done. So they determined that Joe had to go, and they vanished him from the town. Now, as a result of being vanished from, shouldn't say town, village. Since he was vanished from that village, he was trying to find another village that he can go to, because he was basically a vagabond. And when he went to the next village, they asked him, why are you here? Why are you not in your own village? And he told them what happened. And they said, well, you can't stay here either, because we don't want you around our daughters. You can't marry any of them. We don't want you around because you're not to be trusted. You are a thief. And so, now he was left up to his own vices. So the chief was telling me, they tell that story to all the young people, everybody that comes to visit their village, to let them know there will be consequences to your actions. And I'm telling you, Joe lived a very, very hard life, because he couldn't marry, he couldn't live anywhere, nobody wanted him around. So I'm telling you this. I don't know who this message is for, but I'm just letting you know. Get back to that old thing of consequences for your behavior. Don't wait till, the law has to come after you or something really detrimental has to happen. If you have small children or you're raising a family, there's 3 things that I pretty much use when we were raising our family. One of the things is to be an example. You have to be an example for your family. You can't tell them to do something and they're watching you doing all kind of craziness. The second thing that I would admonish you to do is to, what is age appropriate, but always let your kids know, even from very, very young ages, that there's a consequence. If you don't do your work in school, if you are being disrespectful, there's going to be a consequence. If you put that into them as they're young, they will grow up in that manner. You know what the Bible says, train up a child in the way it should go. When they're old, they won't depart. And the third and last thing that I would say, well, I could say many things, but the third and last thing that I'll say on this video is that you really have to make sure that you don't, let me say it like this. I do not reward good behavior. My husband and I never rewarded good behavior. We set the bar high. And so what we let our children know was, it is expected of you to do well. Now, that's not to say that we didn't give them a high five, good attaboy, good for you when they did good things. But you need to raise the bar high for your family, even for yourself. You expect to do well. You expect to do good things. And once you raise that bar high, it's very hard to come underneath it. So I just hope that this video about consequences does you some good. And I hope that you have a great rest of the day and look forward to some of the next videos that I put out there. Have a good one. Bye.